Subnautica 2 gameplay finally revealed. New creatures, base buildings, and more. Let's go. Let's go for this. Let's dig for this. Let's go.
Subnautica 2 has just had its first dev vlog.
Quality so bad.
Subnautica 2 has just had its first dev vlog, and we finally have some real gameplay to take a look at. Today we're going to talk about all the little details you missed in the first reveal and what they might mean for the future of Subnautica. The first glimpse we get of in-game content shows part of a biome being created. There's not a whole lot to see here in terms of plant designs, but the real information lays in the sidebar of the level editor. It looks like this biome is called the Coral Gardens, so we'll likely have lots of weird alien corals for you to discover.
Wait, Subnautica is made out of the Unreal Engine? I didn't know that.
And we see a few of these in the video. But later on, we actually see this biome again from the outside, and the level editor again gives way more information. It shows different parts of this biome falling into different categories, including the graveyard, lead zone, plateaus, and again the shallows. One clip also shows this tiny map, which makes the biome look pretty big. I'm going to guess that pretty much every area we see in the dev vlog is part of the Coral Gardens, and it looks like it's probably going to be the starting location for our journey on this new world, and lines up with what we've seen previously in the Subnautica 2 trailer. We also get our first look at base building, and this is one of the features that I'm really excited for. It looks like the old rigid nature of Subnautica base building has been completely revamped for the next game, letting you place base pieces pretty much anywhere you like. It seems you can build on a grid and have your base snap together, or you can disable it to have even more control over your design. The game engine also shows a category for support amount, which I'm going to guess is the return of hull integrity from the old games, meaning if you don't reinforce your base enough, you might have a few floods. It will be interesting to see where they go with this, as a more dynamic flooding system or emergencies that could happen to your base if attacked by creatures would be really cool. Across the board, we also seem to have visual upgrades to all the tools we'll be using in Subnautica 2, ranging from the habitat builder to the scanner and whatever this thing happens to be. It's such a weird shape that I can't really figure out what it's for, but at least it looks cool. Alongside this, we also get to see what the game's UI actually looks like, with it feeling a lot sleeker and more modern than its previous counterparts. Okay, now let's talk about something I'm sure you guys are all keen to see: the creatures. First things first, we see this creature we previously saw in the game's screenshots released on Steam. The name of this image on the Subnautica website was Hammerhead, so I'm pretty sure that's this creature's name. Like its name suggests, it seems this creature loves to headbutt anything that gets in its way, especially this big piece of coral.
Bonk.
Maybe this is how it hunts, smashing objects apart to bite them down in smaller chunks. It also looks like this might be something the creature does to show dominance, as it seems two of the creatures can be seen smashing into each other in the background of this clip. Hopefully this is something that will dynamically happen in the world, as that will go a long way to making the environment feel real and alive. It looks like this creature can be found both in open water and down in caves, and by its reaction in the trailer, it's probably going to be hostile to the player. The second creature we get to see is one we haven't seen before, but judging by what is said just before it comes on screen, this could be a new hostile leviathan. It seems to have a split jaw similar to Below Zero's Calicera and Squid Shark, but seems to have bulbs attached on fins to its face. I get the feeling that these might be bioluminescent in the creature's final design, but that's just speculation on my part, as we don't currently have any colours or textures for the creature. Hopefully we will learn more about this one in the next dev vlog, possibly seeing its environment and the way it hunts. Moving on to some smaller background creatures, we see this thin yellow looking ray with a big bluey orange head and eye. We really don't get to see much of this one, but I get the feeling it's going to be a passive background creature similar to the original game's Jelly Ray. Apart from these creatures, we don't get anything particularly new, although we do get to see the pink and blue half moons moving around in game for the first time, which is quite neat. Speaking of things we've seen before, let's now talk about the tadpole. This vehicle was first seen in the very first teaser images released for Subnautica 2, but this dev vlog finally puts some metal on its frame and lets us see it travelling through the water and being repaired. As we've seen previously, it looks like the vehicle can only carry one person at a time, and seems to be a fast scouting vehicle for covering ground quickly. The craft is pushed through the water by 4 propellers, 3 small ones and 1 larger one, which looks a bit like a tail, which is what gives the vehicle its name. It's possible the vehicle's power cells sit on its side, although I'm not sure if these are actually big enough to power the craft, so these might just be a form of decoration rather than its power source. The inside of the vehicle appears to have a small screen which could provide navigation navigational data or information about your environment. It seems like there's one of these on the other side of the cockpit too, but we can't really tell for sure from the angles we see in the video. Unfortunately, we didn't get any new vehicles in this devlog, but it's only the first one, and just being able to see the tadpole brought to life is still pretty cool. This devlog also gives us our first look at co-op gameplay, exploring the ocean together with friends, travelling in vehicles, and even building bases.
That looks like illegal.
How the co-op will actually work in reality remains to be seen. Whether that means you have to set up a dedicated multiplayer game, or if your friends can just join any world you have in progress, has yet to be revealed. It will also be interesting to see if any new co-op specific features come along in the future, such as a submarine that needs multiple people to crew. Although we might want to take that with a grain of salt, as the developers make it pretty clear that co-op is a choice, and too many features that rely on it might end up alienating solo players. It's definitely going to be a tough thing to balance, but hopefully early access will give us the opportunity to help them get it right. Now that's all the physical stuff we see in the video, but there's a couple more pieces of information revealed to us that I actually think could be way more important in the future than we've actually seen revealed today. During the devlog, we see that while scanning the environment, the PDA pops up to tell us the slime may contain useful genetics, recommended exposure, and adaptation. This heavily implies that the DNA splicing feature cut from the original Subnautica is going to be making a return in Subnautica 2. The idea of DNA manipulation was originally planned for the first Subnautica and would have let you change your own or other creatures' DNA to help adapt you to your environment. I get the feeling that this is going to be a big focus in Subnautica 2, and that how you choose to mutate or splice your DNA could have a big impact on gameplay. Maybe you choose a mutation that lets you stay underwater for longer, as your body can now retain more oxygen, while your friend might choose to splice their DNA with a hardy crab-like creature, reinforcing their skin and making them more resilient to damage. Depending on what kind of things Unknown Worlds chooses to put in the game, I feel like the sky's the limit with this kind of feature, as you could have some really crazy and cool combos depending on how wacky they want to make it. While we don't really see any of this in the first devlog, I would definitely keep an eye on this feature as we move forward, as I expect this to be a big one. And last but not least, I have something a little speculative, but I think the fact that this was left in hints to another hostile force in the world. Inside the game engine's data, we see a folder called Blight, and that makes me think of one thing: disease, and more specifically, one caused by an infection by some kind of fungus. During the development of Below Zero, an infectious parasite known as Rot Nest was present in the game's concept art. This parasite would infect creatures through the use of small spores, slowly corrupting and taking over the creature's body and making it work towards the parasite's goals. Large tentacles would protrude from the creature's body, sustaining the parasite as it consumed the creature from inside out. The disease would then spread by launching spores out of its host and infecting other creatures. There was even a crystal version of this infection, but neither of these made it into the final game. I think the presence of the word Blight could hint that this monster is back for Subnautica 2, although we will have to wait and see. The devlog ends with a call to action to the community. What do you guys want to see in the game? Early access means that we can have a big impact on what might end up in the final version of Subnautica 2, and the developers want your feedback to find out what by dropping them a message in their Discord and on social media. Let me know down below what you like the most from this new devlog. Make sure to hit that subscribe.
Well, I'm definitely going to play this game once it comes out. Subnautica 2 when? GTA 6? Wait, Subnautica 2 before GTA 6, then it's going to be insane. Well, obviously, but